The national network went dead 2 days ago. The last official feed we had was a loop with the Department of Agriculture seal and a female voice from the Chicago field office. We had it on a card. I'm going to play you the key bit by reading it. The language was stiff. The meaning was plain. The cereal rust complex has jumped regions. Wheat, barley, and rye are failing in large zones. Secondary spread to sorghum and oats. Containment measures are not effective. Seed reserves are contaminated. That was the phrase. Seed reserves are contaminated. The clip ended with a site list that included the river terminals at Lockport, Le Mans, and Joliet. Those are cold and police taped now. The state put troopers across the lots for a day. Then the troopers left. What is this blight exactly? The plant pathologist we had on earlier in the week said it is a mix of rust and blast, and something they did not want to name because the lab work is behind. Rust is a fungus. Blast is another fungus that scars the heads and stops the plant from filling. Imagine a field that looks normal from far away. And then you cut the heads, and there is dust and emptiness where there should be grain. Do not eat anything with orange streaks on it. Do not feed it to animals. Do not soak it, and hope it will be fine. Boiling does not fix poison or fungus. That is for water. Grain is different. If you are hearing this outside Chicago, ask a farmer before you touch anything from a field you do not control. That is the science part I can give you without a lab. We recorded a call last night with Julia in Little Village, who runs kitchens at St. Agnes on Lawndale when there is money and food. She said, we had pallets from the Greater Chicago Food Depository on Ann Lurie Place. Those pallets stopped coming. People waited in line anyway. The line turned into a camp. There is nothing left to hand out. We switched to hot water with salt and onion and the last bag of lentils from before the panic. She said 4 parents fainted in line. She said she sent high school kids on bikes down Cermak to look for open bodegas. They came back with 2 bags of rice and a cut on a chin and a bruise on an arm. The bruise was from the shelf that fell. She wanted to be clear on that, not from a fight. She did not want rumors to grow. I have a trucker clip too. We did this on the shoulder of Interstate 55 outside Bolingbrook. His name is Felix. He hauls dry goods for a private fleet out of Bedford Park. I went to the Center Point Intermodal in Joliet. The guards waved me through because there was nothing to guard. The cranes were still. There were empty cans stacked 5 high. A group had a burn barrel near the fence. Not workers, just people. I ran up to the lot by the Des Plaines River. The bridge was open, but the road had nails down. Big ones. Someone scarified the asphalt with a rake of metal. I slowed. That was a mistake. 4 men walked out. 2 had pistols. 1 had a 12-gauge shotgun. I dropped the clutch and aimed at the gap. I cut a tire. I kept the truck rolling on the rim and got off at Route 53. I parked behind a strip mall and slept under the trailer. He carried through Chicago at dawn on 3 good tires and 1 ruined one. He made it to a yard near Western and 31st. He refused to say which one. He said he is going back out because his wife needs formula. I told him to come home. He laughed. Police. This will be brief because rumors eat trust. I have 3 verified notes, one from a patrol officer in the 10th District who asked me not to use his name. He said the watch commander told the line at 4 in the morning to hold posts around the hospitals and schools and not to answer calls about food unless there was a weapon in the call. He said the computer went down and no calls made it to cars anyway. He said half the watch left to check on families. He did not call that refusal. He called it life. Hospitals. Cook County Stroger went to black tag for malnutrition in the waiting room yesterday. Black tag means do not treat because the person will not survive with the resources on hand. That is a hard thing to say without an image. I am not going to give you an image. I am going to give you a definition you can use. The triage nurse has to keep beds for people who can live if treated. That is the rule in disaster medicine. I learned that from a trauma surgeon we had on in May. The surgeon's name is Dr. Reena Patel. She is at University of Chicago Medicine. She told me refeeding syndrome is the next wave. That is when a starving person eats too much too fast, the body pulls phosphorus and potassium into cells, and the heart loses rhythm. If you find food and you have been without it for days, start small. Eat a little. Wait. Eat again. Drink water with salt and a pinch of sugar. Go slow. I will repeat that through the show. Let me give you the map of the city as I know it right now. Downtown is quiet. Michigan Avenue from the river to Roosevelt has some broken glass and paper in the rain gutters. The big stores are shut and bare. Grant Park is a camp. Tents by Buckingham Fountain. People have stoves made from paint cans with holes. There is smoke. There are no park workers. South Loop around Roosevelt Collection and Dearborn Park feels empty. The emergency center at Jones College Prep was open on Monday. I do not know if it is open now. If you are near Roosevelt and State, check the door and leave a note for the next person if it is closed. Use big letters. Pilsen, Throop Park, and the Field House by 21st Street had volunteers cooking early in the week. We saw soup pots and bread lines, and then we did not. St. Pius V on Ashland has a parish hall that turns into a kitchen during cold spells. The hall was dark last night. The school steps were clean. No chalk, no flyers. The taquerias on Blue Island and the bakeries on 18th had doors ripped off. Some folks moved tables into the street and tried to trade cans for shoes and jackets. The police cruisers that passed did not stop. There was no gunfire when we were there. That could change in 1 minute. If you go, go in a group. Keep your head on a swivel. Little Village. The open-air markets around 26th Street are stripped. The produce warehouses on Wolcott have metal shutters down. Some have pallets stacked in front of the doors. That looks like a defense, but it is also a fire load if someone decides to light it. If you shelter near 26th and Pulaski, avoid sleeping next to stacks of cardboard or pallets. Heat sources in the wrong place will make a wall of fire. That is not a scare line. That is a fact from firefighters who used to speak in schools. Back of the yards. The slaughterhouses and small processors on Western and Ashland have guards. Some are private, some look like cousins and uncles. There are dogs. Do not run at dogs. Stand still and speak. Ask for the boss. Tell the boss what you can trade. If you came for work, say what you can do. Say you can sweep, repair a drain, move carts, clean knives. Use plain words. You want to live through this? You need to stop thinking there is a line you will not cross. There is the line where you hurt people. There is the line where you steal. Keep those lines if you can. But work for food is not a bad line. Englewood. 63rd Street around Halstead is a dead zone. The Whole Foods that opened and closed before all this already looked hollow. Now the glass is out. There is a pharmacy on the corner by the Green Line that has a metal gate ripped up. Do not go in. The roof beams are burned. The old Cook Brothers building has a shelter sign taped up, but when we knocked, no one answered. If you are in Englewood, the safest route north without the Dan Ryan is to take the side streets along Normal and Shields and come up to 39th, and then east or west. That is if you need to move. If your spot is safe, do not move. Movement costs energy. Energy is food. Count your steps. I want to read a shortwave transcript from a listener near Milwaukee. The caller signed his name as Lyle. He works nights at a distribution center off Capitol Drive. We saw a convoy of pickup trucks with metal plates welded on the doors. They stopped at the warehouse. No one inside. They cut the locks with a torch. They rolled out pallets of flour. The bags had a red stripe and a warning label in Spanish and English. It said not for human consumption. It said feed only. People loaded it into the beds anyway. I told a woman to mix it with clean flour and not to feed it to kids. She stared at me like I was dirt. I shut up. The bag he describes is likely animal feed with additives. You can grind it and bake it and you will still be eating something that can hurt you. I know that choice will not look fair when your child is hungry. I am not judging you. I am telling you the risk. Detroit sent us a voice note last night. A man named Bishop walked across the Ambassador Bridge on foot with a group of 30. Border officers on the Canada side turned them back. He said a few jumped the barriers and ran. He did not see what happened after that. He said the customs hall on the Michigan side had people sleeping under the counters. He said some officers gave out bottled water and granola bars until the supply ran out. Bring this back to Chicago. The bridges on the river, even the small ones, will collect people who think there is help on the other side. There might be, there might not. If you are going to a bridge, expect to wait. Expect to be turned back. Plan for 2 routes home. Texas. A short clip from a doctor in Laredo. He said the hospital turned into a way station for families trying to cross. He said the food distributors in South Texas are dry. He said the lines on the bridge moved like water 1 minute and stopped the next. He said some officers refused to push the crowd back because the officers' own families were in that crowd. He said 3 words to me that I cannot shake. No more orders. No more orders is not a slogan. It is a state. If you are in a place where no one gives orders, then you give your own orders. Decide who eats in your house. Decide how to cook. Decide what to trade. Do not wait for someone to bless your plan. Do the plan that keeps your kid alive and your neighbor from bleeding. I hear pots above me. That is the family in the flat above this basement. A mother, her brother, and a child who reads comic books in the stairwell when the light is good. Their stove is gas and still works. The mother lights it with a lighter. They are boiling water in a dented stock pot because the city said there was a chance of contamination. You do not need to know which plant failed. You need to know that boiling water at a rolling boil for 1 minute, then cooling it with the lid on, will kill most microbes. That is it. 1 minute at a rolling boil. Keep the lid on while it cools so it stays clean. Do not pour boiled water into a dirty pitcher. Do not dip cups with hands that touch the street. Touch is a vector. Wash your hands with a drop of soap, even if water is rationed. Ration the soap, too. I lost the last of the producers this morning. Maya went out for D-cells and never came back. She was going to the hardware shop under the tracks in Ravenswood where the owner still opens at dawn. She wears an orange beanie. If you see her, she answers to Maya or to me. She worked with me through 2 storms and 3 fake bomb threats the past 2 years. She is not reckless. She would not decide to travel for fun. The other producer is Greg. He took the van to pick up a doctor and a pastor and to bring them here. He sent a text from Belmont at the river. Then nothing. If you know him, text back if you can. If you do not know him, just hold a thought for the man. He has a wife named Lena and a toddler named Steph. Steph likes yellow boots with dinosaurs on the sides. I have seen those boots kick my microphone stand. Let us do a local list of places that fed people this week with warnings for each. Inspiration Kitchens. In Garfield Park on Lake Street had a line on Monday. They were turning pantry boxes into hot meals for elders. The chef there said the food was from donations and the last of the freezer. On Wednesday, the doors were closed. A note said, "Go to Breakthrough on St. Louis Avenue." Breakthrough was open that afternoon, and then it was not. If you are near Garfield Park now, check churches on Kedzie and Pulaski. Ask by name for a deacon. It does not make the food appear, but it helps the person at the door trust you. Pacific Garden Mission on Canal near Roosevelt had water and soup on Tuesday. The line was around the block. People slept on the sidewalk. A fight started near the alley. One man pulled a knife that looked like a kitchen knife with blue plastic on the handle. Security wrestled the man and took the knife and did not call police because police did not come on Tuesday. If you go there now, go in daylight. Keep your back to a wall. Do not show money. Trade socks, soap, diapers, or batteries. Those are currency with no barcode. Masjid al-Farouk in Bridgeview had a relief table on Friday after prayers. Dates, rice, and bottled water. A man at the table told me to say that anyone is welcome if they respect the space and keep calm. He said no proselytizing. He said share and go. That is the rule. If you are closer to the north side, check the Catholic parishes in Uptown and the Buddhist temple on Leland. There were rice bags on the floor, a kettle on a camp stove, and aunties with phone trees. Respect the space, take what you need, leave the rest. I'm getting questions about weapons. I do not like this part, but you are right to ask. If you carry a weapon, then you need to understand what it does. A 12-gauge shotgun loaded with birdshot will scare people and stop a person at close range. It will not reach across the street with certainty. Slugs will, but slugs will go through walls and into people you did not mean to hit. A 9mm pistol is common because ammunition is common. A 40 caliber and a 45 caliber pistol exist in numbers. Longer guns in 30 caliber and .223 caliber exist too. If you do not know how to handle a weapon, a steel pot lid and a heavy coat are not replacements. That is a bad joke, and I will not make jokes about this again. If you have a weapon, lock it when you sleep. If a kid is in your home, lock it twice, and remove the ammunition to a different place. If you have to point it at someone, point it at the ground until the instant you have to raise it. If this is not your world, then do not let the people who love guns draft you into their world on day one. Let us talk about streets. People ask where to go. I cannot see your block. I can give general routes with low risk. If you are west of the Dan Ryan between 31st and 47th and you need to go north without highways, use the streets just east of Normal and go up to 39th. From there, you can jog to Shields and cross under the tracks near 35th. Watch for loose dogs and broken glass. Avoid bridges with long approaches that leave you exposed. If you are in Pilsen and you want to reach the medical center near Ashland and Harrison, do not walk straight up Ashland. Cut up Elizabeth. Cross on the small bridge at 15th Place by the power substation. Then cross Loomis, then over the viaduct. And you will come up by the blue brick buildings on the west side of the medical campus. That route has cover. If you are near the lake in Rogers Park and need water, the filtration plant at Loyola Beach has a standpipe outside the chain link on Pratt. The pressure might be low. Boil the water before drinking. If you are near Humboldt Park, the lagoon is not for drinking right now. There were dead fish on the north edge yesterday. That can be a sign of lower oxygen and heat and contamination. Use the lagoon for washing clothes below the knee only if you have no other option. Keep that water out of your mouth and eyes. Let me pull in an on-the-ground interview from a supply convoy that tried to reach the South Shore yesterday afternoon. The driver is named Marcia. She owns a small trucking company based near Harvey. She had 2 straight trucks with lift gates. We loaded beans, rice, and oil from a church warehouse in Homewood. We went up Halstead. Near 95th, a group blocked the street with dumpsters. A kid with a bandana told us to back up. We could not back up. Cars were behind us. A man in a White Sox jacket walked up. He had a pistol in his waistband. He said we needed to leave the food. He said it was for the block. I said we had a list of drop points in South Shore. He said the list did not matter anymore. Another man on a balcony shouted to leave the food and go. We dropped 1 pallet and left. We cut over to the Dan Ryan and ran the shoulder to 67th. We got to a church lot on Jeffrey. The pastor was crying in the doorway. People in the lot were quiet. We left the rest there. We went home by Cottage Grove and 71st. No one stopped us on the way back. Marcia will not be going out again today. She said she needs to protect her yard. Doctors again. A pediatrician named Luis from St. Anthony on West 19th sent a voicemail. He said kids are showing up with dehydration and stomach cramps from eating flour paste made with water that was not clean. He said refeeding syndrome again? He said to start with small amounts. He said a spoon of peanut butter at a time is better than a whole sandwich if the child has not eaten in days. He said do not give toddlers raw flour mixed with water because it can have bacteria. Cook it into a porridge if that is all you have. A thin porridge is better than a thick lump. Add a pinch of salt and a pinch of sugar if you have it. I'm going to be plain now. Verification is cracking. We used to run 2 sources for each note, 2 separate voices. A document if possible. A photo with a street number in the frame. That was the rule. The rule held through the first week. The last 24 hours, my second sources fell away. The phones died. The power died. The people who could verify were busy trying to feed a person in the next room. I will keep the rule where I can. When I cannot, I will tell you it is one source. Use your own judgment. Look for the details that ring true. Street names. The way someone says a corner, the kind of bread in a bag, the make of a bus. Those are tells. Here is a Chicago memory that matters right now. The loading dock at the old post office over the Eisenhower has a wide covered area that stays dry in rain. We used to shoot photos there for bands who wanted an industrial look. The guards were used to my face because I bothered them for years. That dock is open to wind and has columns for cover. If you need a place to collect a small group for a handoff, that spot is open on the south side. If you hear trouble, there are stairs down to the river path. Use the path east to the south branch and you can end up under the Wells Street Bridge in minutes. That is a straight route with few blind corners. Another memory, the basement in the art building at Columbia College off Wabash has a print shop with heavy tables and a sink. The door has a badge reader, but the top panel is just plywood and screws. I am not telling you to break in. I am telling you that a person with a screwdriver can make a shelter. If you go in, leave a note on the door for the next person. Write the date, the number of people, and whether you left food or water inside. Use a thick pen. Tape it with real tape. Do not use a dry, sticky note. Those fall off. I have a short note from a farm in Kankakee County. The farmer is named Dale. He grows corn and soy. He said the corn is stunted and the tassels look off. He said the wheat is gone. He said he is feeding cattle hay from last year and is worried about the winter. He said a neighbor planted an heirloom variety of corn from a seed bank and that patch looks better. He said he will grind some of that for flour. It will not save a city. It will save a family and maybe a street. If you have a garden bed, plant beans. Beans do not care about the same diseases as wheat. They can fix nitrogen. That means they help the soil and give protein. It is late in the season for some of you. Plant anyway if the ground is warm. If the frost takes them, you tried. If you need seed, ask around in Spanish and Polish and English. Use all your languages. Someone has a coffee can in a pantry with a paper label and dry beans. A word on grocery stores. Armed seizures are happening. I will not describe them in detail. You know what you saw. If you go near a big store, listen at the corner. If it is quiet, and you hear only one voice inside, that is often worse than a crowd. One person with a gun in a big space acts without checks. A crowd shouts and you can hear intent. A crowd is not safe either. The safest thing is not to go. That is not helpful when you need diapers or salt or batteries. If you must go, go in the first light of morning. Not before dawn, not afternoon. Go with 2 other people. 1 stays at the door to watch. 2 go in fast. Take a list. Do not browse. Salt, sugar, oil, rice, beans, soap, bleach, trash bags, candles, a manual can opener. Powdered milk if present. Baby formula if you have a baby. Sanitary pads. A pack of cards for sanity. I'm not kidding about the cards. I am getting notes from the border with Indiana. People are walking across the state line on foot at the sign on Calumet Avenue. State police from either side are not at the posts. The steel mills in East Chicago are quiet. The river smells of oil near the slip. If you are heading east, avoid the big industrial roads around the lakefront. Take the grid further south. Use Sibley and then head for the Cal-Sag channel. The water plants along the Cal-Sag are fenced. Do not try to jump the fence. There are cameras that still record and private guards still work because water is money now. You will end up in a place where someone can hurt you and call it a job. You asked me to keep reading names. I will do that now. If I read a name and you know that person is okay, pass the word. Write it on a door. Tell a neighbor. The phones are dead. Our mouths are not. Missing. Maya Florentino, orange beanie, last seen Ravenswood near the tracks, Tuesday morning. Missing. Greg Alvar, van driver, last text from Belmont at the river, Tuesday afternoon. Missing. Miss Ruth Delgado, teacher at Orozco Academy, last seen walking west on 18th with a cart, Monday evening. Missing. Daniel Hosea, security guard at the museum campus, last seen at Balbo and Columbus during a crowd push, Sunday afternoon. Found safe, Mr. and Mrs. Kowalski from Avondale. They left a note at St. Hyacinth's that they moved to a niece's place in Norwich. They wrote they have extra water and a folding cot for 1 elder. The battery is at 3 bars. That means very little, but it keeps me talking. I can keep this level going if the family upstairs lets me borrow the inverter again. We made a rule. I give them updates about the south side. They give me a line to the battery for an hour. I am not a hero and I am not making a lesson. It is just trade. You need a trade in your building or on your block. Information for water. Water for watch duty. Watch duty for food. Work it out and put it on paper. Tape it on the door so everyone knows the rule. Do not make secret rules. Secret rules break. I'm going to read 2 short clips and then we will go to the city map again. First clip is from a school nurse on the west side. We opened the gym for parents and kids because the cafeteria had canned peaches and 2 cases of crackers. A group from the neighborhood brought a propane stove. We cooked oats in a pot. The kids shared. One parent wanted to leave with the pot. We said no. The parent cried and then sat down and ate the oats and then helped wash the pot. I am not telling this to shame anyone. I am telling this because people are still capable of listening if you speak plain. Second clip is from a priest in South Chicago. We locked the doors at noon. We opened them at 4. We served soup through the gate to stay safe. We prayed with people if they wanted. We did not ask for anything. We told people to bring back the ladle, and they did. City map again. The United Center lot had a Red Cross truck on Monday morning. We saw tarps and tables near Gate 5. By the evening the truck was gone. The lot is open. People sleep there in cars because the asphalt holds heat at night. If you go, expect to be asked for water. Do not promise what you do not have. On the north side, Wicker Park had a group handing out sandwiches at Damon and North. The group said they will move every day to avoid trouble. They like to stop near a bus stop because the bench helps older bodies. If you find them, do not post about it online if your phone still works. That draws people who smell opportunity and not hunger. Chinatown Square had a line at the bakery on Archer yesterday. The owner let in 5 at a time. A group tried to push the door. Someone shouted in Cantonese and then in English. The group left. Respect is still a tool. Use the words of the place you are in. Say please and thank you in the language the door speaks, even if your accent is bad. You are not auditioning. You are trying to live one more day. I have a memory I want to give you if you are lost downtown. If you stand at State and Jackson and face south, you can reach the Harold Washington Library in 4 blocks. The library has stairs that are wide and a lobby that stays cool. There are bathrooms on the 2nd floor. If the doors are locked, the lower loading dock on the alley sometimes has a roll-up that sticks. I'm not telling you to break into city property. I'm telling you where shade and toilets exist in a city with few of those left. If you go inside anywhere, leave it cleaner than you found it. That is not a moral line. That is practical. If the place is clean, the next person will not panic. Calm spaces keep fingers off triggers. Out-of-town notes. A man from Iowa sent a crackling call. He said his family runs a grain elevator near Council Bluffs. He said trucks stopped coming 3 days ago. He said a group of men came at dusk and asked for the key. He said he told them there was no grain left that was safe to eat. He said they did not care. He said he gave them the key because a key is not worth his life. He said he and his wife moved into the church basement across the street and that the pastor left them 2 cots. He said he can hear the men trying to auger out the last dust from an empty leg. He said the sound is like a broken saw. That is all I will say about that. I'm going to switch to practical steps for people who still have some food and want to stretch it. Dry beans, rinse them, soak them if you can for 1 night. If you cannot, boil them, and then rest the pot, and then boil again and rest again until they soften. Add salt only near the end. Salt in the beginning makes the skins tough. Save the bean water and use it as broth for rice. Rinse until the water runs clear. If you are short on fuel, soak rice for 30 minutes, drain, then add only enough water to rise 1 thumbnail above the rice. Bring it to a boil, cover, lower the flame to the smallest it will go, count to 100 slowly, turn off, leave the lid on for 10 minutes. Oil makes this easier because it keeps the pot from sticking. If you have no oil, watch the bottom. Bread. If your flour is good, plain flatbread takes flour, salt, water. Mix, rest, press into discs. Cook on a hot pan. If you are new to this, expect the first one to be ugly. The second one will be fine. The third one will feel normal. Hygiene. You will get sick faster from dirty hands than from missing vitamins this week. Wash before you cook and after you use the toilet. If you cannot spare water, use a tiny bit of bleach in a big bowl to clean counters. 1 small cap of bleach to a gallon of water is enough for surfaces. Do not drink that. Do not mix bleach with ammonia. That makes a gas that hurts your lungs. If you do not know what is in a cleaner, do not mix it with anything. The sink is not a chemistry lab. Night movement. If you are going to move in the dark, do not use a bright flashlight that screams your location. Use a small light and point it at the ground close to your feet. Tape a piece of paper over the lens to dim it. Walk in pairs. Keep 3 arms length between you and the person next to you so you can move if one person spooks. Agree on a word to stop and a word to run before you start walking. I am not telling you this because I want you to be out at night. I am telling you this because some people will have no choice. There is a rumor about an army convoy at McCormick Place. The rumor says the Illinois Guard was staging at 0600 hours and handing out MRE boxes. I tried 3 sources. I got one answer from a janitor who works there. He said he saw a truck leave Hall C and go south toward 31st. He said he saw pallets. He could not say what was on them. I cannot confirm the rest. Do not walk to McCormick Place on a rumor. If you are near there already, take a look from a distance. If you see people in uniform, keep your hands visible and move slow. Do not crowd them. They are human. Humans with weapons are not machines. If you crowd them, someone twitches. People ask about pets. Pets are family. A dog can guard and calm children. A cat keeps mice off the food. A pet also eats. Decide now how much you can feed the animal. Do not starve an animal in a cage. That is a sentence I never thought I would say on air. If you have to give up a pet, write a note with the pet's name and the food the pet eats and the shots the pet had. Tie the note to the collar. Leave the pet in a place where someone who cares will find it. A police station, a firehouse, a church door, you know your neighborhood. Do the kind thing even if the world is not kind to you back. I promise to orient people with my own memory map if verification breaks. We are close to that. So here is the map for people near the Loop and the near south side. If you can hear my voice in your head and you are near Wabash, you can use this. Start at Congress and Wabash. Face south. Walk to Harrison. There is a pizza place on the corner that sometimes leaves the back alley gate open. If the gate is open, there is often a clean trash can with a lid. A lid is a gift now. Take it. Keep walking south on Wabash to Polk. Cross to the east side. The sidewalk dip under the tracks holds puddles. Do not step in them. Broken glass hides under the water. At Polk, turn left. Walk to Michigan. If the park is still quiet, cut through and use the stairs to go under the tracks near the museum campus path. That path is usually empty in the morning. The underpass smells of urine, but it is safe from wind. Follow the path to the 11th Street Bridge. Cross over to Columbus. If you see a group under the bridge, make eye contact and nod and keep moving. Do not hold your bag tight across your chest. That reads fear. Keep your arms loose. If someone steps in front of you, step to the side and keep your pace. You are not a target if you do not turn into one. That is street logic, not blame. If you're on the west side and you need hot food, the Salvation Army Harbor. Light, on Cermak, near the river, served on Monday. By Wednesday, they were down to coffee and bread. The kitchen there runs when donors bring food. If you have canned goods you cannot use because you have no opener or no stove, take them there. They will open and heat and share. In Pilsen, I said St. Pius was dark. That might change. Churches open and close. With the day now. Walk the block. And listen for the sound of metal pots. That sounds dumb. It works. Pot sounds mean heat. Heat means food. A last set of notes from the lakefront because people keep walking there to feel okay. The lake is not a pantry. The fish you can catch right now may not be safe near the river mouths. The beaches are open, but there are no lifeguards. Standing on a slippery rock to dip a pot is a bad way to break a leg. Use the sand. Keep your shoes on when you step into the water. Water hides glass and metal. If a storm hits, leave the piers. I do not want to say the words to describe what a wave does to a body on a pier with no ladder. Leave when the wind turns and the sky goes gray. That is a rule that always applies. I am going to read 3 more names, and then I will give you the last rumors that might help. Missing. Mr. Jamal Brooks, bus operator. Last known garage at Kedzie and 14th did not return home Saturday night. Missing. Sister Helen from St. Malachy on West Washington. Last seen locking the side door during evening prayers. Found safe. Blanca N., street vendor, moved to Cicero with an aunt. Left a note at the corner of 18th and Damon with a smiley face. Yes, a smiley face still shows up on paper when the world is heavy. Rumors that might help with warnings. Someone said there is a kitchen in the Malcolm X College parking area. I cannot verify. If you are nearby already, walk the perimeter. Look for steam or lines. Someone said there is a relief point at the old police academy near Jackson and Throop. I cannot verify. Do not walk there from far. Someone said that in Bronzeville, at the Chicago Urban League building, volunteers are checking on elders and handing out small bags of food. That one I believe because I know the director, and that is the kind of work that group does when times are normal. These are not normal. It might still be true. If you are an elder in Bronzeville, put a note in a window if you need help. Big letters, water, food, medicine, neighbors will see it. I will end with a set of rules that are not moral laws or government notices. They are street rules for this week. 1. Eat small and often if you can. 2. Boil water. 3. Move in daylight. 4. Write notes and tape them where people will see. 5. Do not chase rumors across the city. 6. Trade skills. 7. Do not brandish weapons unless you are seconds from harm. 8. Hold your group close and make a chore list. 9. Sleep in shifts. 10. When you can spare a lesson, teach a child how to light a stove safely, how to wash dishes with little water, how to fold a blanket tight. A child with a job feels less fear. You will feel less fear too when you see hands move with purpose. That is not philosophy. That is mechanics. I'm keeping the light low because the window wells are not covered well. The candle is burning into a pool of wax, and I will pour that wax into a jar and put a wick in it and make a new candle when this one dies. The car battery will need a charge. I cannot give it soon. If this voice cuts off, do not wait for it. Make your own list. Put it on the fridge with tape. Knock on your neighbor's door. Say your name. Ask for the names of the people inside. A list of names is a map in a dark building. A block with names is a network. A city with networks is not dead. It is just hungry and quiet and working. I just heard a knock on the cellar door. It is the brother from upstairs. His name is Victor. He says a group is forming in the alley. He says 3 men, 1 woman, a shopping cart with blankets. He smells smoke from the west of here. I'm going to check, but I am not leaving this mic dead. I'm taking the recorder and setting it on the crate. If you hear chair legs and shoes, that is me moving slow and keeping my head low. You should do the same if you hear voices near your door. Keep your body off the line of the window. Speak before you show your face. Say a name. Say it twice. Back. The alley group is not looking for trouble. The cart has a cracked blue cooler with melted ice, 1 jug of water, and a box with onions. The woman is named Ruth. She worked prep at a diner on Halstead that shut. She knows how to stretch soup. She asked if the building wants to do a pot tonight. I said yes, if the stairwell stays clear and the back door is locked while the pot is on. She nodded. I told her we can trade information for a portion. She said that is fine. She said the smoke is a grocery near Archer and Canal. People went in, pulled down shelves, knocked over a display of cooking oil. Oil hit a space heater, and now the glass is black. A fire truck came and left when water ran low. The hydrant had low pressure. That store is gone. If you are near there, stay on the windward side. Smoke is poison. It will make you cough and pull you into panic. Take the long way around. We are forming a building list now. Front door, basement door. South exit by the trash cans. Names on a sheet, 1 hour watch in pairs from evening until dawn. No one stands alone outside. No one yells from the windows. If someone calls for help at the door, we do not open fast. We speak through the crack. We pass water through a gap. We call a neighbor before we open. That is the rule. This is not a clubhouse. This is a place for families to sleep and wake up alive. If you do not have a list in your building, make one. Use paper from the mail. Tape it to the inside door. Write the rules short and clear. I want to give you something practical before we go back to the city. A recipe for oral rehydration solution if someone in your home has diarrhea or has not kept water down. 4 cups of clean water. 6 level teaspoons of sugar. 1/2 level teaspoon of salt. Stir until clear. Give small sips every few minutes. Do not add more salt. Do not add sports powder. Do not add soda. If the person is a toddler, Use a spoon. If the person vomits, wait a short time and try again. This is not food. This is to keep a body from drying out while you figure out food. New report from a driver on Lake Shore. He says near McCormick Place there are burned spots on the asphalt and broken glass from windshield hits. He says a green pickup with plywood on the sides is parked sideways near the 31st Street exit. He says men wave cars off and ask for tolls. He turned around and went north again. If you're in a car in this city, keep fuel for 2 days at least. If you are low, park in a hidden spot with the nose out. Do not idle. Do not sleep in a closed garage with a car running. The gas will kill you. If you must charge a battery with a car, pull the car into the open air. Leave the garage door wide. Keep the tailpipe clear. The family upstairs just asked if I can help with a baby who will not stop crying. The mother's name is Alina. The child is named Eric. He is 1 year old. She says she has 2 diapers left. She says she watered down formula to stretch it and now his stool is loose. I told her to stop watering the formula and to clean the bottle with boiled water. I told her about the rehydration solution. She asked if she could make formula at home with milk and sugar. I said no. Do not mix home formula for babies. That is dangerous. Ask at a church or a clinic for sealed formula. Trade anything else before you trade the health of the child. She nodded and cried once and then set her jaw and started to boil water. That is a mother who understands the choice in front of her. If you are in the same spot, do not feel shame. Fix the next meal and keep going. We have new word on bridges. 2 drawbridges on the river are raised to block car crossings into the loop. Franklin and LaSalle were up an hour ago. That means detours and choke points. If you are trying to get south from River North on foot, use the Orleans Bridge, then the Kinsey Bridge, and then keep to lower streets where the eyes are fewer. Watch for broken stairs on the lower level by Wacker. The city is a maze. Walk with a purpose. Do not linger near a raised bridge. Raised bridges draw crowds and drones and people who like to make speeches. Speeches do not feed you. I have a crackly note from the Illinois International Port by Calumet. A warehouse fire burned overnight. The fire department scraped a line with a dozer to stop the spread. The grain dust inside flashed up and then died as the oxygen burned off. People in helmets walked the perimeter at dawn. 2 pickup trucks tried to drive up and were turned away by men with radios and orange vests. If you are thinking the port will hand out grain, stop thinking that. The bulk grain left in silos is not safe. The guards are not being cruel. They are trying to keep a contaminated pile from turning into a contagion. There is a rumor about foreign aid flights. Someone said planes landed at O'Hare and men in blue helmets unloaded boxes with rice. That is not real. O'Hare is open for evacuation flights only. The terminals are quiet. The roadway by departures has tents for staff. The police are redirecting people back to the Blue Line. The Blue Line is not running to the airport through the night. Do not walk the expressway. If you are already out there, cross back at a ramp and find a side road. Think like a courier. Roads are lines on a page. You want small lines with trees and houses. Big lines are traps. We have our first on the ground since I moved to the basement. It is from a paramedic named Nina. She works out of the station on Ogden. She said her rig ran a call near the old central camera building. We pulled up. The crowd did not part. We kept the doors locked. A man waved us toward a man on the ground. We rolled him to his side. He had a head wound and a slow pulse. We loaded him and left. We did not treat on scene. The crowd was tense. When we turned on Wabash, a boy on a bike said thank you and handed my partner a bottle of water through the window. That moment got me through the next hour. She added that supplies are short. She asked that if you flag an ambulance, step back and let them do the job. Do not crowd. Tell the medic the age of the person, the time since the injury, and any medicine the person takes. Then step back. I'm going to say something harsh because I'm getting too many questions that circle the same drain. Do not wait for rescue. Help might come. You cannot plan on it. Plan on work. Plan on the person in the mirror. Plan on the neighbor you did not talk to last year. Start with water, then food, then light, then security. In that order. A flashlight without water is a toy. A pistol without food is a mistake. A bag of rice without a pot is a brick. Think in systems. That is the word an engineer gave me once, and it sticks. I made a quick loop to the back stairs to look at the sky. Gray. No rain. Smoke to the southwest. That grocery is still sending up a light column. I am back at the mic. The power bar on the inverter is down 1 notch. I'm going to connect to the car in the alley for a trickle once I sign off this segment. For those who can still power a small set or a phone, here is a plan to share power without burning fuel all day. Park the car nose out. Run the engine for 15 minutes on the hour to top the battery. Charge phones while the engine is on. Turn off and disconnect. Keep the hood up while running to keep the temperature down. Do not run inside a garage. Do not run with snow blocking the tailpipe when winter hits. When you are done, close the hood and cover the windshield with a piece of cardboard to keep prying eyes off the dashboard if you leave a cable inside. We have a set of calls from the western suburbs: Oak Park, Berwyn, Cicero. The theme is the same. People are going to the village halls and getting paper slips with website addresses. The websites do not load. This is not cynicism. This is a fact. The staff at those halls are not hoarding food in a back room. They do not have pallets in the basement. They have empty desks and phones that do not ring. The help is not in the building. The help is in your block. Build a pantry on a shelf. Put in 1 jar of peanut butter, 1 bag of rice, 1 bag of dry beans, 1 bottle of oil, 1 pack of salt. That is a week of small meals for 1 person if you stretch. Multiply by your household. Trade with the people next to you. Use an envelope to keep tally. If someone takes 2 cups of rice, write it down and square it later. Bookkeeping is trust on paper. I keep thinking about the schools. The kids keep walking to the doors out of habit. We saw 3 middle school kids at the fence by Jose de Diego on Augusta yesterday. They were in backpacks with nothing in them. They looked at the locked doors and then at the flag and then at each other. A teacher walked up, handed them a paper with 3 addresses for community kitchens. The kids did not say thanks. They stared at the words and then started walking. That is what this looks like. No speeches. Shoes on sidewalks. If you see kids at a locked school door, do not lecture. Point to a place with food. Walk them halfway if you can spare the steps. More dramatic news. The United Center turned bad last night. A truck rolled up with boxes. People surrounded it. A shot went off. No idea who. The driver panicked and tried to drive. A man fell. The truck hit a barrier and stopped. The crowd broke into 2. One group tried to get the driver out. One group tried to unload. A line of officers stood near the loading dock and did not move. An older woman with a red scarf started shouting instructions. She said, "Form a line." She said 1 bag per person. People listened for 3 minutes. Then a man with a bat yelled and hit the side of the truck, and the line broke again. The woman kept shouting, and a young man, maybe her son, stood next to her and held his hands out to calm. They kept the line going for 10 more minutes. In the end, the truck was empty. The driver shook. The older woman cried once, wiped her face, and walked away. That is the shape of things now. Good people trying to make order at the edges of a stampede. Be one of those people. You will not always win. You will keep some bodies from being crushed. I promise catastrophes and decisions. Here is one that just landed on my block. A man from the next building, tall, shaved head, mid-40s, knocked and asked for help moving his father. His father is in a wheelchair. They live on the 3rd floor. The elevator is dead. The stairs are narrow. The hallway smells like cigarette smoke and stale water. We set up a carry with a blanket under the chair, 2 men at the front, 2 at the back, 1 spotting with a flashlight. We move 1 step at a time. No one talks. The father grips the arms and grunts once when the chair bumps. We get him down and into the cooler basement next to the laundry room. We set a bucket for a toilet and a curtain for privacy. The son says thank you, and then his face breaks. He asks if we know where to charge the father's oxygen machine. I do not have that answer. I tell him to go to a clinic with a generator if he can reach one. Sinai might have a line. U of C might have a wing. This is the decision point. We cannot plug a machine into a wall that has no power. We can give water. We can fan a person. We can share sugar water and salt. Some choices stop there. That is not defeat. That is clarity. Back to food. The blight is not just wheat. The pathologist said there are kernels that look healthy but carry spores that spread when milled. Do not try to bleach your flour. Bleach is not food safe in flour. If you do not trust a sack, do not use it. Use rice, beans, cornmeal from known bags, canned vegetables, canned fish, jarred peanut butter, oats. If a bag of flour smells musty or sour or looks dusty with orange streaks, dump it outside and wet it before trashing so the dust does not fly. Cover with a trash bag and weigh it down with a brick. Keep animals out. I need to speak about rats. The dumpsters on this block are overfull. Rats follow food and water. They will chew plastic and get into your pantry. Set traps with peanut butter, not cheese. Place traps along walls where rats run. Keep children and pets away from traps. Do not use poison blocks inside your kitchen. Poisoned rats die in walls and smell for weeks. If you catch one, use gloves or a plastic bag over your hand to pick it up. Bag it and put it in a lidded can outside. Wash your hands. Keep your kitchen floor clean. Sweep. A clean floor is not for looks. It keeps pests away. We have a convoy call coming in from the Stevenson near Pulaski. 2 straight trucks, 1 pickup. The lead says they have pallets of canned tomatoes and pasta. He says a group at Kedzie put up a barricade and asked for half. I asked where they are headed. He said a church in South Shore. I told him to pull off at Central Park, go south to 39th, cut across to Ashland, then 35th to the Dan Ryan, and run the shoulder if traffic is stopped. He said the pickup has low fuel. I told him to stash the pickup in a fenced lot if they can, lock it, leave a note, and return with fuel later. He asked if I can call the church. I cannot. Phones are dead. He said he will go anyway. That is a realistic decision a driver makes. Risk, route, hope. If you are that driver, keep your foot steady, no sudden swerves, windows up, doors locked, eyes on the road. Street memory for anyone near the Pedway downtown. If you are under the loop and need to move without being seen from the street, the Pedway has stretches that are open even when the shops are locked. Use stairwells in the State and Lake area to drop. Follow signs to the Millennium Park side and then exit near the parking garage. Do not sleep in the Pedway. It is a tube that can trap you. It is for passing through. Keep your steps quiet and your bag tight to your side. I'm going to tell you about my own house because maybe it helps someone decide. I have 3 boxes left. 1 with rice, 1 with beans, 1 with random cans. I keep a notebook with what I eat each day. Breakfast was a small bowl of rice with salt. Lunch was a slice of bread from earlier in the week with a smear of peanut butter. Dinner will be soup with onion, a handful of beans, and a small piece of canned tomato. I'm not saying this for pity. I'm saying it so you hear a pattern you might use. 1 pot, 1 bowl each time. Wash the pot and bowl with hot water if you can. If you cannot, wipe with a paper towel and a drop of bleach water, then rinse lightly. Keep your spoons clean. Do not put hands in the food bag. Pour into a cup and then into the pot. Food lasts longer when hands stay out of it. There are more calls about police standing down. A detective I know said the order in his unit is to keep hospitals safe, keep water plants safe, and avoid crowd control unless there is a direct threat. That means when a store is being emptied, police will watch the edge and step in only to stop violence. Some will step in more. Some will step back. Plan as if no one steps in. It is not about fairness. It is about capacity. If 100 people crowd a door and 2 officers stand nearby, you can guess the outcome. Use that math in your head before you walk into a mess. An interview just came in from a nurse at Stroger who heard us earlier. Her name is Celeste. We have families trying to check in for hunger. We do not have beds for hunger. We have beds for wounds, fever, and birth. We are handing out small bags with vegetable soup and instructions about refeeding. We turned the med students into kitchen helpers. We boiled water all night. We sent people home with 2 bowls and a spoon if they had none. We wrote down names. We tried to call. Lines were dead. We sent volunteers on bikes to look for elders who did not show up. One student got knocked off his bike and lost a bag. He came back with a cut and asked for another route. I gave him one. She asked me to repeat this. Eat small at first. Your body needs a slow restart. We have a situation brewing 2 blocks west. The grocery that burned is drawing people with buckets for water from the hoses. A man with a roll of cash is paying kids to carry buckets to a house. He waves the roll around. Do not flash cash. People will watch you home. Trade with items, not money. If you must pay, keep bills in a pocket and count away from the street. Better, set a price before you show anything. Money still means something to some. Food means more. Another practical run, fuel. Do not siphon fuel with your mouth. Gasoline will burn your throat and lungs. Diesel is less volatile but still dangerous. Use a hand pump. If you do not have one, a short hose and a squeeze bulb from a hardware store works. Put the source higher than the destination. Gravity helps. Do not do this near a flame. Do not smoke. Keep a fire extinguisher near if you have one. If you spill, spread sand or dirt. Do not wash gasoline into a storm drain. That runs to the river and then to the lake. We all drink from that lake. A call from the north side. A block near Lawrence set up a shared kitchen in a courtyard. They put 1 person on intake to log what comes in. They put 2 on cooking, 1 on water, 1 on security by the gate. They feed elders first, then kids, then adults. They put a chalkboard with the menu and the rules. No pushing, no yelling. You do not have to invent a new system. Copy this. It works if you enforce it. Enforce without rage. Enforce with a firm voice. Hold the line for the kid at the end of the line who is scared to ask. We have to talk about fire safety in apartments because fires are starting everywhere. If you use a camp stove inside, crack a window. Put the stove on a tile, not wood. Keep a pot lid near to smother flames. Keep a jug of water nearby, but do not throw water on oil fires. If oil ignites, put the lid on and turn off the heat. If a person's clothes catch, push to the ground and roll and smother with a blanket or coat. Keep kids away from stoves. Put tape on the floor and make a no-step zone. That tape line might save a finger or a life. New shortwave from Gary, Indiana. A woman named Patrice works at a clinic near Broadway. She said churches are pooling canned food and opening at set hours. They mark hours with chalk on the sidewalk because paper flyers blow away. She asked us to tell people to bring their own bowls and spoons. The clinic cannot hand out cups. If you have extras, donate them. Not fancy plates. Plastic and metal you can wash in a bucket. This is what aid looks like now, not pallets and forklifts, bowls and spoons and hands on a ladle. I'm going to step outside the building for 1 minute to see if that convoy I redirected made it through. I will keep talking while I go. You will hear street noise through the basement window. Feet on the grit. The alley smells like wet cardboard. No engines. Distant siren. A voice shouting 2 streets over. Back inside. I did not see them. That means nothing yet. Routes take time. If they do make it, I will try to get a word for you. I want to log the small things because they tell you the temperature of a city. The mail carrier on this block wore his blue shirt yesterday and walked his route without mail. He checked on people. He said names. He tapped on doors and listened for hands on deadbolts. He is off duty now. He is still a node in the network. Be that node if you can walk a block and not fall. If you cannot walk, sit near a window with a notepad and watch. Keep a list of who passed and when. If someone disappears, your list might be the thing that leads a family to a hospital or a shelter. We got an audio clip from a teacher named Mrs. Yates at Benito Juarez Community Academy. She said we opened the cafeteria for 2 hours. We had half a bag of flour, some rice, and canned tomatoes. We made thick soup. We told students to bring containers. One student brought an empty paint can. We washed it and filled it. I told him to wash it again at home. He nodded, took it, and said thank you without looking at me. I am not asking for applause. I am asking other schools to do the same if they can. Even one pot helps. That is a direct call to action. If you have keys to a kitchen and a clean pot, use them. The inland convoys are seeing fields that look green but give nothing. A farmer near DeKalb said the heads looked full and then turned to dust in the hand. He said he has seed corn in a bin from last year that looks clean. He is planting a late patch in a small field near his house and setting up a drip line from a tank. He said, I know it is late. It is something to do that might feed us in a month if the weather holds. That is a rational act. Action keeps minds from spinning. If you have a patio, dirt, a bucket, plant beans, there is still heat. The city holds warmth in concrete. Put the pot where it gets sun. Water with rinsed dishwater that does not have bleach. A listener just asked about the lake water and iodine tablets. Tablets work for microbes. Tablets do not remove chemicals. If the intake has a spill nearby, tablets will not fix that. The safest water is from official plants when running, from sealed bottles or boiled from clean sources. If you boil lake water, let it settle first. Pour off the top. Boil for 1 minute at a rolling boil. Let it cool with the lid on. If you have a clean cloth, pour through the cloth to catch grit. Do not trust the look of clear water. Microbes do not make water look dirty. We are getting stories of armed groups taking over supermarkets and setting guard. You do not have to challenge them. That is not your mission. Your mission is to feed your home. Find small stores, corner shops, bakeries, churches, restaurants with freezers that still hold cold, houses with gardens. Ask for work. Offer to clean, to boil water, to do dishes, to watch doors. A man with a gun at a big store is one path. A woman with a ladle at a church door is another. Choose the second path every time you can. I want to talk about the South Water Plant at 79th and the lake. It is fenced. It is guarded. Do not go there to ask for water. The plant pushes water into the mains. If it fails, the city will announce at corners with bullhorns, and by then you will know because your tap will hiss dry. Prepare before that. Fill pots. Fill tubs if you can seal them. Use trash bags to line a tub if your drain leaks. Tie the top so bugs stay out. Label a bucket for toilet water and one for cooking water. Keep them apart. There are calls about mental strain. People are snapping at small things. The line is too slow. The ladle is not full enough. The door opened for one neighbor and not another. This is normal under stress. Do not make it your whole day. Write down 3 things you need to do. Do one, and cross it out. Crossed lines look small and dumb. They help. Teach your kid to wash rice. Teach your partner to light a stove without burning eyebrows. Teach a neighbor to check a pot without lifting the lid too long. These are skills. Skills beat fear. I have new names. Missing, Maya Florentino, Orange Beanie, Ravenswood Tracks, Tuesday Morning, Missing, Greg Alvar, Van, Belmont at the River Tuesday Afternoon, Missing, Officer Darren K. Last seen at Mercy Hospital parking lot Sunday night, found safe. Josephine M., 80 years old, moved to a daughter's place in Bridgeport, note left with a smiley sticker at Throop and 21st. If you know any of these, mark a door. Do not trust social media to carry the news. We had a quiet hour at midday, and then the park down the block turned loud. A man set up a table and said he had rice for the trade. He asked for jewelry. People lined up. A teenager grabbed a bag and ran. The man chased and fell. The bag split. Rice on the ground like white sand. People knelt. A woman slapped a boy's hand away and scooped rice into her shirt. A man yelled. A dog barked. I watched from a doorway for a count of 30 and then closed the door and sat on the steps. I want to tell you, I ran out and gave a speech. I did not. I saved my voice for this mic. I saved my steps for later. That is another realistic choice. You cannot fix every corner. Fix your corner. Victor upstairs says the kid Eric stopped crying after the rehydration drink and a small spoon of plain rice. Alina is asleep in a chair. That is a win. Small but real, take your wins. Write them on the same list as your chores. It is easy to think the day is empty. It is not. If you fed a person, you did a thing that matters. If you did not fight when you wanted to, you kept the street from turning into something worse. That counts. We have to address the border crossings again. The Detroit Bridge turned people back. Reports from the southern border say large groups are camping near bridges. Heat, dust, tired feet. The officers online are outnumbered and some are going home. This will push people onto back roads. In Illinois and Indiana, that means township roads and farm lanes. Do not drive fast at night on those roads. A closed gate shows up late in headlights. You hit it, you lose the radiator, and your car dies in a field. Park and walk if your headlight is weak. Better, do not travel at night. A correction to an earlier note. Someone told me Malcolm X parking lot had a kitchen. It did on Monday. It did not today. A different group set up by the tennis courts served for 1 hour, then packed and moved when a fight started. This is dynamic. If you hear me say a location, assume it shifts. Kitchens go where the people and the safety are. The only constant right now is the lake, the river, and the grid of streets. Use the grid. If a spot turns bad, go 1 block over and try again. I want to talk about light at night without power. Candles are fine if you keep them safe. Use a glass jar, not an open plate if you can. Put the jar on a plate. Keep it away from curtains and paper. Do not fall asleep with a candle burning. If you have a headlamp, use it on the lowest setting and aim at the floor. If you have kids, give them glow sticks at night so you can see where they are without bright light. Tape the bathroom door latch so it does not slam when the window is open. Small noises make big emotions in dark halls. More field audio. A man named Ray, a janitor at a high school, called from the boiler room where he sleeps now. We keep one room clean so it feels like a home. We rolled up mats, dragged in a couch from the teacher's lounge, kept the sink running slow. We sweep twice a day. I set up a rota. People laughed at me. I kept doing it. Now the room is clean, and people who laughed are asking for slots. My rules are not to be mean. They are so we can sleep and not get sick. Ray is not a leader with a badge. He is a man with a broom who understands systems. Copy him. I was asked for a route from Chinatown to Mercy Hospital without the main roads. Here is one. Start at Archer and Wentworth. Go south on Wentworth, cut east on 25th, then south on Princeton, east on 29th to Michigan, south to 30th, east to Indiana, south to 31st. That keeps you off the widest streets and gives you alleys with cover if you need to duck. Do not walk under the green line alone if the platforms are crowded. If you need a rest, the steps at the park by the old Harold Washington Center give a windbreak. Keep the rest short. Standing still is a flag. We are setting a pot for tonight with Ruth's onions, my beans, and a little oil. We will make a big pot, not spicy. Spoon it out, elders first. Kids with bowls next, then the rest. We will add rice water to stretch if we need to. That is the milky water after rinsing rice, which has starch. It thickens the soup. It is not much. It helps. This is not flavor country. This is fuel with salt. That is fine. We will sleep better with something warm in the belly. If your block lights a pot, do the same order. Elders, kids, then the rest. Write it on the chalk. Do not argue after you write. I keep receiving questions about home defense. People ask if they should set traps. Do not set traps that can hurt a child or an elder in your building. Do not rig wires that cut ankles. You will forget your own wire in the dark. Use noisemakers. Cans on a string by the back door. A bell on a doorknob. A chair under the handle. Then when you hear a sound, speak first. A voice in a dark hallway is a tool. Most people do not want to be shot. Most do not want to be hit. Most want food and will leave if you tell them there is none. If someone keeps coming, you make the next choice. Keep weapons locked until you must use them. Keep ammunition separate. Consider non-lethal options first. A loud whistle will wake a building. Numbers change outcomes. We just got a breathless report from a rail yard employee near clearing. He says a group tried to break into a line of reefers, refrigerated cars. He says most are empty or hold meat that is no longer safe. He says men with long guns patrolled and fired into the air to push the crowd back. He says the crowd backed up and then fanned out to the sides and tried again. He says it turned into a standoff, and then people drifted away when word spread that the reefer compressors were dead. If you hear reefers humming, that is one thing. If it is quiet, do not risk it. Spoiled meat is poison. The smell is not a guide you can trust. I need to repeat something about refeeding because it keeps coming up. If you have been without food for days, start with thin soup. Then add a small serving of rice or bread. Then wait. Do not gorge. The body needs time to balance salts in the blood. If a person gets dizzy after eating, sit them down, give sips of the rehydration drink. If they pass out, lay them on their side, keep the airway open. Do not pour water into the mouth of an unconscious person. Seek a clinic if one is open. Say the words refeeding syndrome to the nurse. That tells the nurse what to look for. I want to map a path across the South Branch for people near Pilsen going west to the medical district. Start at Blue Island in Loomis. Go north to 15th Place. Cross the small bridge by the substation. Stay on the left where the handrail is solid. Cross Loomis, go under the viaduct, then enter the campus at Wood Street. The campus has security, but they know people are coming for help. Keep your hands visible. If a guard says stop, stop. Say you are going to the hospital. Do not run. Running in a hospital zone brings guns up. A side note on cash. Some stores still take it. Some want exact change. Coins matter now. If you have a jar, count it. Make small bags of coins. $1 in quarters, 50 cents in dimes, 50 cents in nickels. Label them. When you walk into a shop that is open, having exact change can turn an argument into a nod. If the shop is not selling, do not beg. Ask when they might open. Ask what they need. One shop asked for bleach and trash bags. That is the price of entry, a fair price. We have to talk about cold weather coming. It is warm now. It will not stay that way. If power stays out into winter, pipes will freeze. Before that happens, find the shutoff for your unit. Find the main for the building. Ask a super if one exists. If the heat dies and stays dead, drain lines if you are the owner or if the owner is missing. This is technical. Ask for a plumber on your block. There is always a plumber on a block. In a pinch, keep faucets dripping to avoid freeze. That wastes water. Weigh the choice. Work with your building. There is a man shouting outside about a truck coming with bread. Do not run. I can hear the feet on the stairs in my building. I am going to keep my head down. Bread might come. It might not. The last truck was at the United Center. You heard what happened. If you hear the same shout on your block, listen for the shape of the crowd, not the words. Are there families in line or men with empty backpacks standing in pairs? That tells you which way it will go. Do not stand at the front if your knees are weak. You will be pushed. Stand to the side and wait for a second wave if there is one. If the truck is real and the crew is decent, they will keep handing out until dark. If the truck is a lure for a fight, go home. Your ribs are not worth a loaf. I am going to mark down some craft ideas for light and heat that do not burn the building down. A candle in a jar under a clay flower pot can give a small warm spot for hands. Put the pot on stones so air flows. Do not touch the pot with bare hands when hot. A water bottle painted black and set in a sunny window makes warm water for washing in the afternoon. A mirror can bounce sunlight into a darker room. None of this feeds you. It makes the day easier to carry. The alley group came back. Ruth says a church on Throop and 21st will try to serve again at dusk. She says they want people with knives to help chop onions and carrots. She says bring your own knife and board if you can and show your hands to the person at the door. If you have a clean apron, wear it. That signals you are there to work, not to hustle. If you stand in a doorway and look like a worker, people treat you like one. That keeps fights down. We got a late call from a doctor at Mount Sinai who is heading home on foot. He said the ED is a wall of tired faces. He said he saw a toddler with severe dehydration saved by sips and patience. He said a man with a bad cut from smashed glass waited 7 hours and thanked the nurse for stitching without anesthesia. He said the nurse said, "You are welcome," and then washed her hands and moved to the next. This is the level of endurance outside our kitchens and basements. If you have a nurse or EMT in your building, give him or her a bowl before yourself. That bowl feeds 100 later. I'm going to close this segment with 2 routes to rumored kitchens with the same warning as before. They may move. If you are near Chermak and Halstead, walk west on Cermak to Carpenter, south 1 block to 23rd, east to All Saints St. Anthony at Levitt. Listen for voices in the yard. If you are on the north side near Clark and Foster, walk east on Foster to Sheridan, then south 2 blocks, and check the corner church with the red door. If you go and it is closed, leave a note with the day and time. Put the note under a rock. Someone will read it. I will stay on as long as the inverter holds. After that, I will write the names and places in thick marker on cardboard and tape them to the door of this building so people who walk by can see something true. If you are still listening, sit down and draw your own map. Mark water. Mark kitchens. Mark danger. Mark a friend's door. Maps are not just for roads. They are for people. If your hand shakes, rest it on the table and breathe. Then draw one line and then another. You do not need art. You need a plan. This is Daniel in a basement off the South Branch. I'm lighting the second candle stub now. Eat a little. Drink. Put your back to a wall and close your eyes for a few minutes. When you wake up, pick up the list and do the next thing.